IoT and channel. So it's going to be a really interesting session. We've got Tom Hammond from Siemens, Don Cunliffe from Pangea, Dan, sorry,
Pangea.
all the time, Pangea. Anton Lissoy from Zest4,
Yep.
and Lee Broxton from Jola. My name's Alan Behrens from Taxel, so I'm just going to facilitate this. You won't get me speaking very much because I know much less than these gentlemen. So the question really is about IoT and the channel. So the main question I think everybody's now probably is there opportunity, and if so, where is it? Just before we start answering that particular question, which is the silver bullet question, if anybody wants to ask a question, just put your hands up. I'd love interruptions, and I'd love your inputs. So just put your hands up at any time, and we'll schedule the end. So the question goes to our friends at Siemens. To start with, is there opportunity for the channel, and if so, where is it?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly opportunity in the channel to answer that simply. Where is it? Well, within heavy industries, energy industries and so on, the industries that are a lot slower to digitalize, we're actually now seeing those industries at the inflection point where they're adopting more digital technology, more connected technology and so on. So that's a real growth area for the market, for companies that already have domain expertise in integration, software solution, analytics and so on. So simply put, that's where we're seeing real growth industries, is in the verticals that are a lot slower to adopt digitalization, generally due to the heavy regulation and also the complexity of the industry. So we've seen things like the consumer space rapidly changing, the high street moving to Amazon, media consumption moving and so on. We've seen travel to become more and more digital, but now it's the time for, we're seeing it with healthcare, we're seeing it with industry, and we're seeing it with energy as well.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't think we'd have 4 people on a panel if there wasn't an opportunity. So, well, I certainly hope so. I think I would agree to an extent. I actually think that the sectors are maybe kind of a bit wider reaching, because what we're finding is a lot of the true IoT opportunities are kind of not discovered yet in a way. A lot of times people come to us and go, wouldn't it be really cool if you could do this thing? And then you eventually sort of find out, okay, well, if I can measure something and connect it to the internet, I can generally create a business plan around that part of it. So traditionally it's been fleet and energy sources as well, but now you're looking at things very close to, measuring the depth of a drain to try and prevent flooding. That's something new that we worked on this year, for example, or trying to understand the temperatures in my data center better so that I can optimize my energy spend. Those are other ways that we look at how we measure something connected to the internet and turn it into an opportunity. And I think the channel is probably the best kind of sales engine, if you want, because we sell to so many different sectors. It's about understanding where that thing you want to measure in that sector sits, and then creating an opportunity for that. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of the way I like to see it.
I think I agree with Dan, and I think one of the things that's changing within channel is, historically, when you've asked a channel partner about sort of IoT or working with IoT, everyone's been looking for that big bluebird, the thousands and thousands of things being connected within sort of one organisation. It's not about that anymore. It's about bringing it down to the smaller businesses, not just the large enterprises, but the smaller businesses that have got things within their organisation that, as Dan says, want to control, measure or monitor, whether it's filling the hole or measuring the temperature or counting how many donuts or a salmon. I think there's an IoT opportunity in pretty much every one of our customer bases now, and it's how do we identify an opportunity and make it reality.
Yeah, so opportunity within the channel. So we didn't sell mobile at Jola until about 2 years ago. And now 90% of what we do is mobile, with a large percentage of that being sort of IoT, end-to-end type space. It's worth the channel partners. If we go back 6 years, we used to have a company called Griffin. We always used to say every one of our channel partners had an MPLS network in them, because it was when MPLS was at its kilometre and everybody was using that sort of thing. Coming into this market, we've found that we're always invited into these opportunities, and we always create stuff for partners to facilitate that opportunity. And it's all about knowing what's in your kit bag, understanding what your customers are doing, and pouncing that as and when you're asked, from all sorts of industries and all sorts of verticals. So two that we've been involved in the last fortnight One was our chairman on the golf course, and he gets speaking to a farmer who happens to own 8,000 acres of land. It's got 2,500 sins that he's never complete nightmare with. He's got us involved. We're speaking to him, we're speaking to the farmer, we're speaking to the people that provided the hardware. And that was from a channel partner that hadn't sold IoT before. Oh, that's famous for my chairman. And then the next one is transport. Big opportunity in transport. Again, until the customer, the channel partner understood what we could offer, and he could understand the right questions to ask, understand what we can create. Again, it was an opportunity. It's 40,000 sins, this opportunity. It will have a big impact into their company, or a big impact to our company if they're in the business. And this is all just about the channel speaking to people that they're already speaking to. It's not creating anything new. It's not finding new customers. Well, it is creating stuff new. These guys are a bit different to us. So these guys create technology to monitor their stuff. They sell the monitors. We aren't that company. We are the company that sells the systems. We're not talking about products.
So the challenge for the panel is not to talk about products as well.
Yeah.
So
the opportunity is vast.
Is it from a reseller point of view, is this more of an opportunity for reseller product, or is it a services opportunity for them, or is it a consulting opportunity? What's your feeling?
I think it's all of us. So depending on what your business is, very much, if you speak to Dan would probably, well, all of these guys really know more about IoT than I do when it comes to the devices. I know about channel, I know about sales, optimization, making things easier. These guys know about the solutions. So the consultancy side is that. Is it about reselling? Absolutely. Classic, we're buying a sim, buying it for £1 and selling it for £2. Yeah, absolutely. It is all about reselling. And what was it doing?
Consulting and services.
Services, yeah, it's about providing services. So the services might be an online portal, it might be a device, it might be a monitoring device. So it covers everything. So yes.
I think there's a key driver at the top of all of this, and it's that for the channel reseller, it's about adding a revenue stream that didn't exist before. But once you start looking at how you can add a revenue stream, that's when you can bring things like that into. So you can bring in a managed service, you can bring in an end-to-end solution, you can bring in the SIM, the connectivity, and they all add different levels of revenue to a customer that wasn't there before. But while you're doing that, you're also enhancing your relationship with the customer, because although you're taking revenue from them, you're making their business much more efficient, hopefully saving them money whilst creating yourself a revenue stream. So it's about looking at it in its entirety, deciding why you as a reseller want to go into IoT. I suggest that top line additional revenue stream is the biggest driver, and sort of working out how you can get that revenue stream by enhancing what you're doing with your existing customers.
I think it's always like, I really wish I could learn what everyone's thinking, because I can like kind of go in that way. But what Ian and Anton say is kind of different perspectives. I think what Pangea has done right from the start, with my co-founder Chris here. So when we began, we were very much thinking about connecting the things, right? And that was SIM or maybe even other technologies like low power wide area networks, whatever it might be. However, what we learned very quickly was that if you want to be successful in a channel environment, we do need to consider this sort of ecosystem approach. So what I mean by that is adding a device and adding a level of analytics, so we can help one of our partners, I suppose, take a service which is in their brain on the farm. We had a guy who wants to measure skis that he was losing. Mass marketing, take that from a kind of incubation point to a proof of concept at a really low rate. So I spoke about the drains earlier, but that's a good example of a company that came to us and said, like, we have this massive problem about flooding in our area in the UK. And all we want to know is, when is the flood going to come? And so, the proof of concept for that was sub 25k to deliver, which is peanuts compared to what he's now pitching for in the millions to deliver this end-to-end in a council. I think that's when you want to start to find where the IoT fits for you. You have clients in the public sector and private sector today that want to answer those questions. And so I think the point around being able to find ways to go to proof of concept with pure IoT solutions, where you're managing, monitoring things and delivering a solution, is definitely there. The true sensitivities around just connecting SIMs and kind of creating large data around that is also a very important part of it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think it really is the power of the ecosystem. That's our first-hand experience. There's probably 1,001 different use cases at the moment, and and no one company can deliver all that. So it's the power of the ecosystem, collaboration as well, companies that previously would have competed as well, all working together, exactly what you said. There's revenue streams for everyone who's able to add value to that use case. And I think what's most important as well is once you've done your proof of concept, your full rollout as well, is to make it a standardized use case as well, because that's where the repeat business, the growth comes from. You can really grow it within a vertical or a sector.
So, Anton, what does it take? What sort of skills and capabilities does a reseller need before they get embarked in an IoT project or looking at these sort of solutions?
So I think for me it's about having a basic understanding of what they're trying to achieve. I wouldn't expect a reseller to have an in-depth knowledge of all the different sort of platforms and data analytics systems that are available. I wouldn't expect a reseller to sort of know where to go to get every different type of sensor. But that's why they come to a channel partner that has done this, has built up some user cases. What I would expect a partner to have is an understanding of their customer, an understanding of how their customer operates, the pain points within their customer, because if they can understand the pain points of the customer, we can then work with them to identify ways of alleviating those pain points using some form of connectivity and some form of solution. So it's about understanding what the customer is trying to achieve and the difficulties they're having in achieving it. It's not about knowing their market space. They don't have, a reseller doesn't have to know what technology is going to be launched next year and the year after and the year after that. That's what we're there for, to help them with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the questions on this panel was about do you need an IoT specialist? You may come to that later on, but I think that's a kind of a two-answer thing, if I may. So, we build our business to try and be that for the channel. So would you invest in a market that was worth billions? Probably. But would you want to see a proof that it works? Yeah, you probably want to as well. So you'd work with someone, potentially Pangea, one of the guys in the panel, to try and help you break into that market with specific clients. If you like it a lot, like when people did in mobile, they hired mobile specialists to try and take their business forward. You could do that with IoT. You can actually hire people to attack and sort of go within your base to grow that market. And I think that's quite a relevant story, because if the market is big enough and every single, I suppose, report out there suggests it is, and we have a business running that, then it might just be worth doing, right? It might just be worth going for.
Lee?
I think from our perspective, it's our channel partners are often the ones that are more skilled than we are on the actual technology side of it. Also, I think in the channel, it's really important to understand that a lot of stuff has already been delivered. Even though it's a new tech, it's a new sort of industry, new booming industry. There are already millions of SIMs out there, millions deployed. And quite often you find that people managing these things, mainly the networks, aren't doing a very good job of it. So a lot of the opportunities we come across is to replace stuff, is to replace simple, the technologies that are already there, they have an understanding, and they want to control it more. So they'll come to us. So in classic telecom sale is to replace something. To replace a phone system, to replace a mobile estate, to replace an IoT estate. Classic, replace, solve a pain point, create revenue.
Siemens has got a different sort of portfolio set, generally. So then what about from your side? Yours must be sort of a different perspective on this.
Yeah, I mean, from our perspective, with our ecosystem partners, they build their solutions, their use cases, their analytics and so on actually on the platform, and not only utilising everything that's available from that, but it's coming back to the ecosystem perspective. It enables them to work with other companies within a common environment, all the ease of commercial contracts and so on that brings as well. And also everything we do around business and market development. So when you say that you bring in IoT consultants to develop the market, that's very much what the approach we take, where we have these standardized use cases with our channel partners and so on that we can then grow within the market sector.
But what skills do the partners need to add on to their business? So the partners have already got, obviously there are a range of different reselling OEMs. But the resellers themselves have a set of skills. What should they invest in first? What do they need to focus on to get the skills and capabilities to deliver the solutions that you provide?
I think that a lot of it does come around to in-house capability around things like agile approaches, adopting new business models and so on. So it's quite a broad skill set. So firstly, understanding the technologies coming into the market and also commercializing the solution.
I think if I can go on, like slightly different approach to that is that I think a lot of the channel. Okay, if you take our partners, right, so 75% of our partners are telecoms companies, and the other 25% are sort of your solution providers. So guys will do a fleet management solution, or they may do monitoring of streetlights, etc. But that's 75% of the guys in this room or have come to this event. And so what we find with them is that we actually find stuff that they sell today and try and adopt an IoT spin to what it is. So a good example, these guys will know, is Ethernet, right? Pretty much everyone here sells Ethernet. While you wait for Ethernet to deploy, there's a 3-month gap of no revenue. So you deploy services using IoT capability and a router to get that going. But there's other things as well, which is every one of the partners here will have customers who either have a vehicle or a building. So there's some solutions, I'm not talking about the product, but there's some solutions that you can use into that specific high volume market that you have today to just open that door a little bit and start to go forward. And by that time, you've generated revenue to pay for a specialist to go for the big stuff afterwards. And that's what I do, or that's what we do, I suppose. We find simple ways of the partner today sells a product that they do every day and go, cool, here's an IoT opportunity around that. And people like that. I think that's kind of how you get that going.
I think some of the most successful resellers that we've seen that have identified opportunities are where they've usually identified maybe one or two individuals within their organisation that's got an appetite for something new, that is looking at IoT and sees that there's something there. I'll be honest, generally something under salespeople within the organisation that do that. But if you can incentivise them and monetise for one or two people to just drive and put a few simple solutions in, as Dan said, a free Ethernet solution or an in-vehicle solution, just to get them over the line. It's not long before we start to see then other people within the organisation start to follow and start seeing the revenue streams coming. One of the biggest failings is where somebody tries to launch IoT into their entire sales team who are pushing for the mobile targets or the fixed line targets and just see this as another product that they don't understand and they're going to try and generate a revenue from, because all of a sudden you've got a big blocker. But if you just, let's say, use one or two people who have got an appetite for it, use an expert to work with them to build those skill sets, get one or two deals in, and we see it start to flow then quite regularly through our business.
Yeah, I can agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, it's all about, for us, it's if you're a company and you think I'm going to train my staff to engineer certain IoT delivery and monitoring lampposts, say, you're probably going to fail. Can you sell them all? For us, it's all been about helping partners and salespeople identify opportunities. And once we've identified an opportunity, can we work with one opportunity? Or do our products fit, yes or no? If they fit, do we have to craft our products? Do we have to change anything? Not to our product. Do we have to change anything? How can we help our products fit that particular need? I think if you go on about training engineering stuff on IoT and installations and stuff, I think that's the wrong approach. I think it's find the opportunity, craft the solution, and then work with a partner to try and deliver that solution.
Do you have any questions from the floor? Anybody got anything interesting that they want to query the panel out? Can you just mention your name first?
Yeah, Mark Riddell. Just picking up on something that you said where there were millions of SIMs that are out there and it's about going in there and possibly replacing what's already there. I suppose where we are in the market, I'd imagine a lot of that is actually directly with the networks themselves. So how easy is that? One, from a commercial point of view when you're dealing with the network directly, and then secondly, how is it, you were talking about migration in effect where it could be tens of thousands of SIMs, the deployment of putting new devices or new SIMs out there. In my eyes, it wouldn't seem as simple as that, or is it as simple as that to do?
So you're dead right. So one, yeah, walking into networks, quite often I believe and we see day by day, the networks doing a bad job of managing people's data, people getting bill shock, people not knowing what the SIMs are doing, unable to activate SIMs correctly, unable to see what's going on, unable to have a vision of what's going on with their state of SIMs, right, what those things are doing. When it comes to replacing things, yeah, it's expensive. So if you're saying to me, are we going to go out and replace things for 5p each? No, we're not. It isn't about the smart meter stuff. This is about people replacing higher revenue things. IoT in buses for Wi-Fi, IoT in vehicles for tracking, IoT in applications for EDAs in transport. These are things that people have access to constantly. Taking a sim out and putting the sim back in again. It requires project management, it requires a partner doing something, it requires an end user doing something. But if it saves money, operationally it works, you'll find the time to do it. And it might be 6 months of pain, but it's 10 years of less hassle and more revenue for them. Because hopefully you've saved the money.
Anybody else got anything to add to that?
I was going to add something, I suppose. No, I just think on Mark's question around the migration piece, I think it's very important that I can only speak from my experience that I think it's very important how your partner, Pangea, one of the guys, how they're integrated with the operators, right? So at a technical level, some of that stuff is easier to do if you are direct with networks, if you are in good relationships, if you're a technically sound build-up, and from our perspective, there's quite often things we can get done. We're still a very young, hungry company, so we will make things move in terms of that migration to get things in the right position. And often that saves a lot of that hassle, a lot of that project management that you can get around. So I think it's really about understanding the simplicity of making it happen. I can use an example, if I may, sort of how you deal with that. So it wasn't millions of sims, but it was about 2,000 for a company that has a very, what is the most emotive thing about our mobile services today is the dropouts, right? We can't make a call, we can't speak. But from a data perspective, it's actually when we can't get 4G these days. You notice, like, you're on 3G and you're trying to make it work, like, this is useless. But actually, a few years ago, like, this is the best thing ever. But now it's about 4G. So, client has a retailer who's got 2,000 iPads. The re-sign is to go from one of the operators to another operator, stay with the operator as usual. I think you all who are in mobile would understand that. And so the opportunity we spoke about was actually, well, what if we replace that one operator with a multi-operator solution? And actually that now has happened, but the interesting part is when that re-sign happens again, it's actually a very, very strong solution. Like, where else would they want to go? Because now that emotive part about having 4G on 3 carriers rather than one in one device is actually really powerful. And so we've done that, and those guys are much happier because while they travel, that emotion is more about we get more work done rather than being unhappy. So the next time that comes around, it's a less conversation about, what do we migrate it to? It's about how do we improve ourselves. I think that makes sense. It's kind of in that line.
I think there's a risk though. It's something that you have to be aware of when doing something like this. So if you're moving from, if the sims are on O2 at the moment and they're just staying on O2 but moving to another provider, a lot of us have got a relationship with the networks, and we can usually arrange a migration path to do that. If it's moving from one network to another, it's a little bit more difficult, and it's probably going to need some, as Dan said, to replace the sims in the devices. And if it's in a handheld device, that's clearly possible. Where you can come across challenges though, if it's in an IoT device that's probably going to need some APN details programmed into it, it becomes a different factor. So whilst there is an opportunity for just swapping one SIM out for another, it's not true in all cases. Sometimes it can be a little more difficult for others. So all I would do is say to channel resellers, use an ear of caution. And if you're unsure, speak to someone that's done it before, that's been involved, and let's find out what is involved before you actually make a promise that you may not be able to fulfill.
From Siemens' point, Siemens sells. So I was at the conference a couple of weeks ago. They launched a whole. They're buying a new company to augment their IoT business, and they actually invested very heavily. You're into the business of industrial IoT right now. What's different from what your methodology is and your channel recruitment is to perhaps what these other gentlemen are training?
I wouldn't say there's many different methodologies and so on. I think it's just different technologies we work with, different types of channel partners and so on. So the industrial IoT space, we work with a lot of companies and channel partners who have that domain expertise, not only with the existing solutions, projects, customers and so on. and also the technology. So we're seeing them upskilling themselves. In terms of things like migration and so on, how do our channel partners deploy new projects and so on? Well, I think one thing that we can really utilise at Siemens is our financial services as well. So one of the challenges we see to full rollout deployment is the capital expenditure and so on. So we explore new business models as well around deferred payment, form of contracting, and also just changing the customs and OpEx charges as well.
I mean, it's an interesting point. I mean, some of these projects are huge. I mean, these are, they start small with a small pilot, generally, people are testing ideas, they're changing frequently, it's very agile methodology and getting going. And then you get into okay, we're ready to go, we've got 10,000 cars, we want to implement this insurance solution or whatever. How do the partners manage that? Because that's obviously something of scale.
How do partners manage it? I think it depends what capabilities the partners have got. We are literally halfway through a rollout across the 5,000 sites, putting a backup SIM into stations. 5,000 across Europe. 2 months into it, our channel partner has deployed 3,000 of these so far. And we haven't heard anything. It's all run to the portal. So they are organised. So these guys got engineers all over the place. They can do this work. Whereas if I said, one of our smaller channel partners with 3 staff, could they do that? No. Could we do that? No. We'd have to utilise engineering resources from a third party. So it all depends on how we do it. And being that channel partner is what they can do. I think any of us around this would struggle, Siemens maybe not, but still, would struggle to deploy that many SIMs across the EU. So,
are you seeing other sort of size of deals? I mean, obviously resellers are very interested in not only services, but also repetitive type businesses, so they can sort of have some sort of continuity and volume of business. Do you see what sort of size of deals and what type of deals are normal? Or is there any norm?
We haven't got a norm. So we are so new into it in terms of it's every opportunity is different. I don't know what these guys think, but
I don't think there is a norm, in all honesty. I have a single customer that takes 20 terabytes of data a month from me. I have customers that take sort of kilobytes on 6 per month. There isn't a norm. And each opportunity, whilst it could be something you're lifting and shifting off the shelf, each opportunity is going to have slight differences somewhere.
I think if I can add to that, maybe think of it differently and say, well, what I can share is that the average kind of tenure in IoT is super long. We'll have customers that are probably my longest service is a 15-year deal for managing street lighting, which is great. That's cool to have, but it's kind of scary as well because 15 years is a very long time. The whole world might be changed. As Anton said, you may have 1 month of the biggest prospect you can have, so it's quite interesting. What is quite useful that I've seen over the last 4 years is that actually the average revenue per, I suppose, from a SIM perspective or from that deal perspective is actually higher than mobile if you look at it across our base. And that is very encouraging because there's loads of mobile dealers out there, but there's not as many IoT people that are out there working on this thing. So if I said to you, well, actually your ARPU is higher in IoT per time, why would you want to get involved, right? So that's the way I would look at your base and say, well, why don't we do that? That makes sense. Let's just think of it that way.
So we're coming to the end of our time, so the really interesting question, which I'm sure will generate long answers, but we're going to keep it short, is, so your piece of advice to resellers thinking about jumping into the domain, what would your single piece of advice, best advice be? So if we start with yourselves.
Probably wouldn't be a single piece of advice. It would definitely be look for how you can develop value from your existing core business and so on, and be agile in developing new business models.
I'd say you have probably the best opportunity because you sell to so many sectors. IoT is available more than choose a good partner for us.
Yeah, similar thing to Dan. It's about partnering with the right people and finding someone that can help you manage your entire estate rather than a particular person.
No. Likewise, it is all about being able to manage and control the state of sims and what's going on within across your entire state. So it's not about just, it's not, yeah, it is about control. For me, it's about control. So
I'd like to thank the panel. I think that was a really fascinating discussion. I know it's a very short period of time to discuss something which is so complex. It's a big topic. Thank you very much to you all. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.